Hi everyone and welcome to this week's Monday Memo. On today's memo I'd like to ask a question. How many of you really know the difference between insight and foresight? I mean, what definitions would you give to them? Because during the week I was reading a book. It was recently released and I'll put the book in the show notes. It's called Implementing an Analytics Culture for Data-Driven Decisions. Because in this book, it was the first time I'd actually seen anyone have a go at calling out the difference between the two. Because we're always asked to be thinking about driving better insights in our organisation to support better decisions. And there is actually a subtle difference, and I was really delighted to see it called out in the book. Now, I'm also going to try and get the authors onto the show at some point in the future. But for now, let's have a look at what their definitions were. And the reason behind calling out these differences is probably the difference between finance going from that trusted scorekeeper who sits in the back office to being that strategic partner with the business on the front lines. And what I liked about the book is it put quite simply that getting a seat at the table requires delivering insights. That's sort of telling the business something that it does not know, and it's something that could perhaps influence or change a decision. So I hope that definition resonates with you. So what's more interesting then is this definition of foresight, because what the authors say is that even more value is provided when foresight's delivered. And foresight is considered as a very often reliable prediction of the future. So that could be something like making a call on whether a deal has got a good chance of success at a customer over another one. Or let's say operations are providing a forecast on where their orders or their revenue is going to turn out, and you've got a more accurate or consistently beat the predictions of an operations or a sales team that perhaps could be gathered from many different regions, many different managers, and have all had various levels of interpretation within them. And I think that's where advanced analytics, particularly machine learning, Monte Carlo methods and so on, come in to help those type of foresight decisions. And the advantage of foresight over insights is that insights are meant to influence decisions. Foresights actually lead to impacting decisions. And there's a subtle difference. Insights provides knowledge about the past, something that has already happened. The foresight piece is more like a forecast into the future. And, I think that insights will help get you nearer a seat at the table. It'll help build influence along with things like rapport and turning up and being present and being visible. Whereas once you're at the table, with this sort of competitive and dynamic environment we're in, you could easily lose your relevance. So to sort of maybe keep your seat at the table, what you then need to do is be able to offer this foresight. And that foresight will then allow you to move beyond influence into impacting. Yeah, it allows you to challenge decision makers. So for instance, yes, you might have a view of what the number might be. And it might be developed off of some advanced analytics that you or the team have been developing or that you've pulled from some data scientists. And you're not saying that an analytics is right or accurate. What you're saying is, let's have a conversation about it. Let's be that sparring partner to try and understand how much interpretation was in the other forecast that was driven or led from the business. And then understand where the risks and opportunities are. And that is very much valued when it comes to decision making. Might slow it down a bit, might cause a little bit of friction, but it ultimately should lead to a more diverse and a stronger platform from where the decision has been made. And that's the type of thing that you keep at the table. And then I'd also encourage listeners to move beyond the insight and the foresight to helping the business put these decisions into action. And then there's no way they're letting you leave the table. You'll be there for as long as you can add value. So look, I hope these last few minutes have helped you better appreciate the subtlety between insight and foresight. Again, I really appreciate the authors for calling out in their book. And likewise, we really appreciate you listening in and tuning into the show, as well as when you recommend it to your colleagues and friends. We're on all the major platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube and Spotify. And we really appreciate you investing your time with us today. So until next time, Take care of yourselves, and let's keep on building our strength in the numbers.